Here I go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, of course. And in today's episode, man, I can't wait for this one. Who are the top 10 NBA teams going into the 2023-2024 regular season? I'm about to give you my list. Let me know what you guys think of my list. We're going to start at number 10, guys. My first team is the 76ers. I know this may seem a little low for some people, but here's why I have the 76ers at 10. Joel Embiid in the playoffs is not the same player as Joel Embiid in the regular season. Joel Embiid, I know he's the reigning MVP, but last year in the playoffs, he got shut down pretty easily. I mean, it's not really that hard to defend Joel Embiid, and you just have to take a big man out in the perimeter, force you to guard him out there, and he just is kind of slow. Like, he doesn't, I don't know, he just doesn't have great perimeter defense, and every single team in the playoffs knows how to game plan for him. Like, you just got to double team him, make him pass the ball, and then he's pretty irrelevant. And to be honest, like, I think a lot of teams like force him to change his game during the playoffs. Like, you see it time and time again that Tyrese Maxey has to carry a big load in the playoffs. James Harden, who, by the way, James Harden, I don't even know if he's going to play on the Sixers this year. I heard rumors of him going to the Clippers. He's not reporting to training camp. He's missing practice. He's doing all this kinds of nonsense that's just distracting the team. So I think that alone is just going to make the 76ers not as good as they should be, but I think they still will be a fourth or fifth seed in the Eastern Conference. I mean, Joel Embiid will showcase his ability during the regular season, as he does time and time again. But during the playoffs, I'm just waiting for Embiid to take that step. You know, average 30, 40 points a game in the postseason, absolutely dominate. We haven't seen that yet. So that's why I got the Sixers at number 10 on this list, just because of Joel Embiid's postseason performances and last year and past years before that. Now at number 9, I have the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings, they made the playoffs last year. They took the Golden State Warriors to 7 games. De'Aaron Fox was a stud last year. He was averaging 25 points a game, showcasing that elite downhill speed. I mean, he's just been absolutely incredible to watch. And then the Kings also have Keegan Murray, who's a great two-way player who can put the ball in the cup and also lock down the best players in the league. I like that. And then I like Sabonis as well. Sabonis is a good role player, and he can also put up 20 points and 10 rebounds per night. I mean, he's just perfect. Like, he's a star, but he's not like a superstar. He's like an all-star caliber player, but he can like put up good rebounding numbers. He's very physical down low. So I like that squad that Sacramento has, especially with Kevin Huerter, who's a good shooter, Harrison Barnes, who brings in that veteranship, and then Mike Brown. I mean, he's a good coach. He has a lot of experience as a coach, and especially in Golden State. He got a lot of that experience in Golden State being an assistant. So I like the Kings to do a little bit better than they did last year, which is going to be kind of hard to make it out of the first round in this stacked Western Conference, but I think they can do it. They got the squad. They're young, and they got a nice mixture of veterans in there as well. Now, number 8, I've got the Phoenix Suns. Now, I know people are going to say the Phoenix Suns should be higher because they have Bradley Beal, they have Devin Booker, and they have Kevin Durant, but they lost DeAndre Ayton and replaced them with Yusuf Nurkic, which I don't mind that replacement. I mean, Yusuf Nurkic is a good passing big man. He's good on the offensive side of the ball. But when it comes to defense, Yusuf Nurkic is not really an elite defender. He's had a lot of knee injuries that kind of limit his mobility on the defensive side of the ball. And I don't know like how consistently healthy he's going to be able to be. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries over the last couple years. But the thing about the Phoenix Suns is they don't have a lot of depth. I mean, they did pick up Grayson Allen, but I mean, besides that, like, you can't really name a lot of guys that are coming off their bench. Like, they're going to have to rely on their stars a lot in the playoffs. And that's what they had to do last year, which is why they didn't do as well as everyone thought they would. Like, Kevin Durant's going to have to average 30. Booker's going to have to average 30. And Beal's going to have to average like 25 for this team to even be a contender. Like, that's the thing. Like, they have to do so much. And the thing is, I know people, like, I know Sham said that Bradley Beal is the point guard, which will be interesting to see how long they last with that. But, I mean, I could see Devin Booker also playing point guard as well. I mean, the man averaged 7.5 assists in the postseason last year. He was a very good facilitator. I want to see Devin Booker at point guard. I know Bradley Beal is supposed to be the point guard, but there's really no true point guard on that team, which is also another concern for me because they've got a lot of ball dominant players. I mean, Bradley Beal, he needs the ball. Devin Booker needs the ball, and KD needs the ball. Not as much as Booker and Bradley Beal, but that just concerns me a little bit. I'm not sure. I think the Suns are a good team. I think Frank Vogel is a good coach. He's a good defensive-minded coach, but I don't know if they have enough off their bench to make a deep run in the playoffs. So I got them at 8. At number 7, I got the Clippers. The only thing about the Clippers for me is if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can stay healthy. Literally, they have not played 60 games. Both of them have not played 60 games in a season since being a Clipper. That is really bad. That is really bad. Those two guys cannot seem to be able to stay healthy. Like, if the Clippers want to have any chance of winning an NBA championship, those two guys have to play over 60 games. They have to. Because the regular season, they need time to gel. They need time to build chemistry with their teammates. Russell Westbrook, I think he's a very good addition. And he played really well in the playoffs last year. He played really, really well. He really did. Like, he showcased his ability to pass the ball, move up the floor, fast-paced, high up tempo. I like it with Russell Westbrook. And then they got Zubac, a very good center. There's no doubt that the Clippers have bench depth. But can those two-star players stay healthy for them? That's going to determine everything for the Los Angeles Clippers. And at number 6, I've got my Miami Heat. You guys are going to be like, oh, how can you put the Heat this high? Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. And as long as the Heat have him as the head coach, they will have a chance to make the Eastern Conference Finals and compete for an NBA championship. They have Jimmy Butler. They have Bam Adebayo. We got more size with Thomas Bryant. And then we also have Orlando Robinson, who I think is going to play a lot more, and Nikola Jovic, who I think is going to play a lot more. And it looked like in the preseason, which I know the preseason's not an insanely big deal, but at the same time, I look at it as a plus. Seeing Tyler Hero kick it out to people on the three-point line, the ball's moving around more. We're playing more in the fast break. I like what I'm seeing in the preseason from a lot of these other players. And yeah, we didn't acquire a superstar. We didn't get Damian Lillard, unfortunately. But I think that wasn't really a bad move. I mean, there's not a lot of people that can play in Eric Spoelstra's Heat culture. So, I mean, I think the G League guys, which a lot of these guys, people don't even know yet. But I think we're gonna have some guys that are gonna come out of nowhere and shock the world with the amount of contributing they're gonna be doing. Yeah, we're not notorious for being a great regular season team, especially last year. I mean, we were an 8 seed for crying out loud. We lost a play-in game, and then we make it all the way to the finals. Like that was a weird season because I have no expectations. I have no expectations this season, but don't be surprised if the Miami Heat do something this year. Don't be surprised if they make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. And at number 5, I've got the Los Angeles Lakers. The same thing I said for the Clippers. If LeBron and Anthony Davis can play more than 60 games, they're going to be a problem. But in the last 3 seasons, both of those guys have not played over 60 games. Like, that's the thing. Like, Anthony Davis is very injury prone. LeBron is getting older. I know LeBron is still considered a top 5 player in the league right now, but he has not been on the court as consistently as the Lakers have wanted him to be on the court. He's just getting old. He's got a lot of miles on those legs. And for him to be able to be successful, Anthony Davis has to be the best player on the Lakers, not LeBron James. I mean, they got shooters around them. They got Austin Reeves around there. They picked up Gabe Vincent. They got Cam Reddish. They have a lot of good shooting, and they have a lot of good players. And they also picked up Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood, which honestly makes them a threat to beating the Denver Nuggets because they have size. It reminds me of that 2020 team when they had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. They have size now, which is scary. They're going to be able to rebound better. Like, I just like Jackson Hayes. He's a very athletic center. He can shot block. He can rebound. Christian Wood, he's a very good scorer of the basketball down low in the post. I like what the Lakers have. I think they quite possibly have the best bench in the NBA. Like, I really do think that. So I think the Lakers are always going to be a threat to win an NBA championship. But I have them at 5 just because of the question marks with Anthony Davis and LeBron James being able to stay healthy. Now, at number 4, I got to put the Boston Celtics right here. They picked up Drew Holiday, which, by the way, was probably the best replacement for Marcus Smart that they possibly could have gotten. He's a great two-way player. He can lock up. That is what Drew Holiday is for. He's known for his defense. He's one of the best point guard defenders in the league. And replacing him with Marcus Smart, I mean, there's no better replacement. There's no better replacement. And then they get Kristaps Porzingis, who can spread the floor out. Now, the only problem with Kristaps Porzingis, can the man stay healthy? If he can, watch out. But if he can't, then he's going to be kind of useless, obviously. And then they still got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, which I think this is kind of a hot take. I think the Celtics should have traded Jaylen Brown this season to get Damian Lillard, because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum essentially play the exact same positions. They're both wings. They both play the exact same way. I mean, they can play together, but like there's something off with those two. Like, I know they have chemistry. I know they made the finals 2 years ago, but like there's just something about them that just they don't have that chemistry like 100% to a T. Like sometimes you see like play stalls out with those two guys on the court at the same time. Like I feel like if you took one out of the starting lineup, which would be insane, by the way, they'd be able to lead a second unit better, which you're never going to do that if you're the Celtics. But I just think, paying Jaylen Brown that amount of money that they gave him, he's the highest paid player in the NBA, which he shouldn't be. Jason Tatum should definitely be getting more money than Jaylen Brown. But that's the thing. I think they should have traded Jaylen Brown when they had the chance, because I think they're going to regret giving Jaylen Brown that amount of money. Jaylen Brown cannot go left at all, so he's kind of limited on that. He's an inconsistent shooter. Like, that's the thing. Like, I like the Celtics. I think they're very talented. I think they have a good bench. They got a lot of role players. But though that is the thing. I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I just think that chapter should have closed. It really should have. And then number 3, the Golden State Warriors. I know what you guys are going to say. Oh, how are the Warriors up there? Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kuminga. I mean, they've got some guys over there. And then when they get Draymond Green back, Chris Paul and Steph Curry are going to play so well together. Chris Paul doesn't have to do much. He just has to be a facilitator. That's it. And then he can pass to all these shooters that they have. Kevon Looney is also a very good center. They have him as well. I just see the Warriors doing a lot better than people expect them to do. Like Chris Paul, Steph Curry, that chemistry looks great in the preseason. It really does. Klay Thompson being able to shoot, like Chris Paul just literally has to kick it. That's it. He doesn't have to really score the ball that much. I mean, Chris Paul could average like 7 points per game, but have 15 assists per game. Like, let's be honest here. Like, he doesn't have to do that much. So, like, that's why I think the Warriors are going to be very, very good this year. And they still have Andrew Wiggins, who is one of the best two-way players in the NBA. They kept a lot of their players last year. They got rid of Jordan Poole, which I think was very good, because that was just a lot of toxic energy going on between Draymond and Jordan Poole. And that's the decision. If you're the Warriors, who you keeping, Draymond or Jordan Poole? Draymond, obviously, because he's been there for the last 4 championships. So look at the Warriors. They're going to be possibly the second best team in the Western Conference. I think they will be. With that team, and picking up Chris Paul was a way better acquisition than people think. It really was. And you still got the greatest shooter of all time on your team. So now, number 2, I got the Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo in the pick and roll. Stop it. Just stop it. Like, that is going to be disgusting. Like, how is any team going to stop that? Like, if Giannis is getting double teamed, he can just kick it out to Damian Lillard for a 500-foot three-pointer. Like, I mean, Damian Lillard literally has limitless range. He can pull it from anywhere. And they still have Chris Middleton. They still have Pat Connaughton. They picked up Malik Beasley, which I really like that pickup. And then Brook Lopez, another guy who's a big center and he can stretch the floor out. Like, I think the Bucks are the best team in the Eastern Conference, and they should be the favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference. Like, that team is just going to be disgusting. It's going to be unfair. It's going to be unfair. And finally, Damian Lillard has a legit chance to win a championship. I know it's not with my Miami Heat, but like I low-key feel for the guy. Like he was on Portland for so many years, and the farthest he could get was the Western Conference Finals, and he had to run into the Warriors. He just didn't have enough. But now he's got a legit partner in Giannis Antetokounmpo to actually win a title. Like I think the Bucks could possibly win 2 rings in the next 2 years or the next 3 years, to be honest. I really do. They're number 2. And at number 1, I got the defending NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets. If you got Nikola Jokic on your team, you're going to be the favorites to win the NBA championship. I mean, everyone knows what he can do. He brings the ball up the floor. He's the best passing big man of all time. He's not the most athletic guy, but he has very good footwork. And he's just such a good passer. Like he's so good at getting his team involved. And they have the perfect team built around him. Jamal Murray, a guy who can go out for 40 at any point. At any point. Aaron Gordon, an athletic two-way player. Then you got Michael Porter Jr., who's a decent defender, but a very good three-point shooter and has a bag offensively. And then you got Christian Brown, who got experience in the finals last year, who's going to be coming off the bench, bringing that defensive mindset that they need. Like, I really like the Nuggets. And yeah, they did lose Bruce Brown, but they do also have Reggie Jackson, who is a very good point guard, very good bench player. He is going to be perfect off the bench. I don't think the Nuggets even losing Bruce Brown, I really don't think the Nuggets lost a step. They're going to be as good. They could go back to back. I don't think they will, but they could go back to back. And since I'm going to bring up NBA championship picture, my early finals prediction is the Milwaukee Bucks and the Golden State Warriors. That is my finals prediction. I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast on that note. Let me know what you guys think of the podcast. Let me know what you guys think of my top 10 NBA teams going into this season. Drop a like, drop a comment, hit the subscribe button. I'm Jackson Burleson, and I will see you guys in the next episode of the Take Podcast. Take care.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart up on